Can't get caught.
You can't see my face as tears stream down. Let me see if this thing works. So, I need to check out my notes here as we go on. So, hi, my name is Michael.
Hi,
Michael. Welcome to the Lorimer Series. First up is The Bitter Poet. No, we're not doing that again. So, this is not working for me either. Again.
The top
Oh no, wait, it's okay, it's okay.
Did it go?
You unlock it now?
Yeah.
Oh, best graphics.
This image is taken by Dan Dursko of the U.S. National Park, and this is the Milky Way in a panoramic view over top of Death Valley, which is probably the most barren place on the planet. If you strip the atmosphere and you strip the tire tracks that you see here, and you take all the bugs out and the bacteria, and you take Dan out of the picture, this is what the universe looks like from a rocky planet. I mean, there's a ton of these things swishing around in the universe. And it's a good place for me to start, because I want to talk about sort of Dan in the picture. I want to talk about sapience and its place in the universe. And I want to talk specifically about sapience and how we can promote sapience throughout the universe, promote intelligence and the kinds of things that make the universe what it is, promote that for a very long time. Kinds of time scales I'm talking about here are just tremendous, and we'll see a bit more about that in a second. One thing I want to talk about first is whether or not sapience matters, because everybody in this room sort of thinks it matters, but I wasn't, when I first started this, I wasn't really sure that it did, because I've always been sort of a hyper-materialist. That is to say, somebody who thinks, well, you know, the universe might be a better place without us. I mean, there are people who think that, right? The world might be a better place without human beings because we tend to fuck things up quite frequently. So I had to think to myself, you know, is sapience a good thing? And one of the things I was thinking about when I was looking at this was, I was trying to figure out what does sapience bring to the table for the universe. When you think about the universe, if you know anything about the way it's constructed, the universe without people in it, without intelligence, without wisdom, is basically a bunch of waves slapping into each other and a bunch of particles slapping into each other. And the things that we think about when we think about words like beauty and value and worth, those are things that we put onto the universe. They're not intrinsic properties. Beauty is not an intrinsic property of anything in the universe. Beauty is something that we create in our own minds as a result of our sapience. The word sapient comes from, you guys know what it means, right? It's our capacity to think. The word comes from the Latin word for wisdom, which is sapienta, and they're both related to the Latin verb sapere, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing perfectly. Sapere. You should have to hear that accent, right? Which means to taste, to know, and to be wise. I mean, that's an amazing confluence, because that's exactly what sapience is. It's first the ability of the senses, sentience, right? You have to be able to sense things. Then you have to be able to know what those things are. Listen, bugs can know things, right? Bugs, mice, they can know mazes, they know where they live, they know a lot of things, but they're not sapient, right? Because sapience, the property of sapience is wisdom, and it's the ability to put those things together, create a model of the world, and then be able to predict the future and be able to model your own actions based on those predictions. So, wisdom. Wisdom's a good thing. Wisdom allows us to create all of the value, all of the beauty in the universe. That old canard about if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, does it actually make a sound? Well, the answer to that question, you don't have to agree with me, but the answer to that question is no, it doesn't make a sound. It makes waves, waves propagate, and it makes a certain kind of sound, but it doesn't make anything near the kind of sound that we hear, that beautiful thump against the ground that we hear when a person is around to experience it. So, maybe all of you guys already knew this, but for me, sapience is a good thing in the universe and something to nurture and propagate. it wasn't just a given, so I just wanted to bring you guys through my thought process. So,
Michael, can I just take a moment to toast you for doing the Lorimer series, which I think is emblematic of your belief that that's worth doing.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, wrong
Oh,
slide
yeah,
deck.
again.
Yeah.
One more time.
5 minutes before.
So here's the thing.
Presentation.
This leads me to the question, because this is sort of part of the I'm just basically laying groundwork. Like, are these good things? And if they are good things, that means that we should do everything we can in our power to propagate them throughout the universe, right? But you have to examine these first. Civilization, lately, I've been thinking, not such a great thing, you know? Wars, pestilence, I mean, children being, I mean, you guys see the stuff on this TV just like I would if I had one. So, civilization, I had to think, well, is it a good thing? Well, sapience is a good thing. Civilization is absolutely necessary for sapience to exist on this planet, and we'll see that it's absolutely necessary for sapience to exist on this planet and in this universe past the next 1,000 years. Sapience, it can't exist without civilization, because civilization is sapience that thinks itself alive. In other words, it's a thought that thinks itself alive until it runs out of what? Until civilization runs out of trees, until it runs out of water, until it runs out of oil, until it runs out of fish. It's none of those things. Civilizations die because they run out of wisdom. Right? I've been reading books about survival of civilizations. There's a great book called Collapse. Some of you guys, Jared Diamond, I think is the guy's name.
Jared Diamond.
Some of you guys may have read that book. Look, the Norse didn't die out because they didn't have enough fish and they didn't have enough trees. They died out because they didn't have the wisdom to continue. And the wisdom that they needed to get, they could have gotten from the Inuit. But they didn't. They chose not to. You know why? Because they chose their lifestyle over their sapience. They chose lifestyle over wisdom. They chose lifestyle over the continuation of their existence on the planet. So, can you do another one? So here's the deal. Short-term survival. It's very, very important for us to survive the next 1,000 years, and here's why.
Because otherwise we won't.
The next 1,000 years are the second most important years to human existence on this planet. The second most important. The first most important moment was about 70,000 years ago when a supervolcano exploded. I think it's called, let me see, it was called the Toba supervolcano. And basically wiped out human beings except for a small population of 2,000 to 14,000 people. That's how close we can come to extinction. If it had been maybe a little to the left or a little to the right, it's just taking out the rest of those people. So it's that close. The reason why these next 1,000 years are so important, because some of the things that Troy has brought up in previous talk with peak oil, basically what we've taken is we've taken the planet's endowment to us, oil, natural gas, coal, and we've used it up to create all the stuff around. Every single thing in this room is predicated, it is absolutely called into existence on cheap energy that's available to us. We've just about used it up. If this civilization collapses, it's my opinion that there absolutely will not be another chance. And if there's not another chance to build a technologically advanced civilization on this planet, then I guarantee you that the existence of human beings will not go past 1,000 years, 5,000 years, 10,000 years. At some point in the future, it's going to be over. Next slide, please.
Michael, why do you say that this one, this is like a go no-go?
Okay, I'll tell you why. Because a technologically advanced civilization, the kind of technology that we will likely have in the next 1,000 years, will be able to take care of every single one of these problems. Run out of oil and coal before replacement is discovered. 1,000 years from now, we'll have a replacement. It's true. We'll have a replacement. World War III. If we can survive to the next 1,000 years, this is a critical period. Those kinds of things go away. Pandemic, we'll be able to find a way to circumvent pandemics. We're talking about 1,000 years of technical advance that's on a logarithmic scale. As you point out, it's exponential growth. Ecological collapse. All of these